Hey guys, Desolator Magic here with more crazy spoilers from Zendikar Rising, and I gotta say, in case you missed the very end of yesterday's video, I don't know how you would've, my summary take on it so far is there's really nothing too broken except for cards that helped out Mill because Mill is already a problem. So can they keep it up? I think it was like day 4 with Throne of Eldraine before they started dropping stuff that I'm just like, okay, well that's the end of the game. That's overpowered, easily abused garbage. It was so close to being an acceptable set, and then they had to add that crap to it. So, will Zendikar Rising be the great reset of the power level? Or are we about to see some broken crap? I'm actually asking, I don't know. I did not look at these at all ahead of time, and also about half of them are in a foreign language. So this would be fun, but let's start with a Marius Call, a mythic. Ooh, and it's a 7-cost triple white sorcery. You don't see that very often. But yeah, you create 2/4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. I'm glad this is an angel heavy set. We all know angels, best tribal in the game. And non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until your next turn. Hello. So I mean, okay, sorcery speed, but we're all sick of ambushes that are like, oh, in the middle of combat, by the way, now they're all indestructible. So have fun with that blocking assignment that you already decided. That's a little too devastating when it's all your creatures, just saying. So check this out. On the other side, it's not just a regular come-in tapped plains. It says, as a Marius Shattered Skyclave enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So you have the option of paying 3 life and having it come in untapped, which is actually really important for my life gain deck. Now, still, 7 is really expensive for just getting, an indestructible effect, maybe a free swing with some life linkers and 2 flyers. But if you did get to 7, cool. It's just the average white life gain deck or even white black deck does not get to 7. So I'd say, it's just a power card in a draft. Well, it's a mythic. It's not intended for draft. There's no such thing as a mythic intended for draft. In fact, all mythics do is rune drafts, usually. So I don't know. I mean, could this go in a ramp deck? Yeah, but it's clearly built for like a mono white life gain deck. So I mean, is Angel Tribal going to be a thing? Usually that's almost always too slow because Angels tend to cost 4 and up. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see like what this was kind of intended to fit in. Because they usually kind of build an archetype and let people kind of, tweak it from there. So I'm kind of interested in this. So next up, we got Tangled Fluorohedron. That's how you class up your garden right there. So this card is true and sincere, utter pure stupidity right here. Because it's an elemental. Okay, cool. If that's relevant to your deck, that is literally the only use of this side of the card. Because it's a 1/1 for 2 and you can tap it for 1 green. But it has summoning sickness, so not immediately. Or you could drop it in as a land, it comes in tapped, so you can tap it for mana, but not immediately. Which one would you like? The one that can be destroyed, or the one that can't reasonably be destroyed? And they both do the same thing at the same speed. Like I said, elemental ETB, otherwise, why? Why would you ever drop it in as a creature? I guess you could swing for 1, you could put counters on it. It's just, you're out of your damn mind if you drop this in as a mana dork instead of a land. Plus, you ever heard of this thing called landfall? Anyway, next up we've got Soul Shatter. I love how they're trying to push this extended art as like, it's the new normal because we're going to spoil the card, but we're going to make it this version. No, I'm going to buy the cheapest version of the card. We all know this. But good on them for trying. Hooray for marketing. So this is kind of cool. Each opponent, so hey, multiplayer commander, yay, sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control, and then it should say in parentheses, in other words, Ugin. And then like a sub-parentheses until he gets banned. Because he's gonna get banned. They have to. So, I mean, yeah, Planeswalker Killer, I like it. I don't like kill spells that cost 3 that you can't control the target of. That's stupid. Just run murder. Except that this can take out a Planeswalker or a creature. So, also, I mean, it bypasses indestructible, I guess. That's kind of cool. I think a lot of people will play this card. This is going to be pretty dope. Next up, Roiling Vortex, which makes no sense because they said that they built the Sky Havens to get away from the Royal because it was on the ground, but sure, let's do that too. Anyway, it's a 2-drop enchantment, rare, and it's red, which means I'm already scared of what this says. Let's see, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, Roiling Vortex deals 1 damage to them. Each player, so like, both of you, whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, yes, it deals 5 damage to that player. Yes, kiss my ass, you degenerate assholes. The problem is usually free casting is like, take something out of your graveyard and drop it into play. You're not technically casting it. So this is like half the solution to broken degenerate crap. But they've been printing half solutions for like the last 2 years. I mean, look at Lavinia, or like Hushbringer, or Tocatli Honor Guard, or Ashes of the Abhorrent. They've only been printing half solutions. The solution is to stop printing broken cards in the first place that you can drop in for 0. How about that? Now, my issue with this card is the bottom line. You pay one red, your opponents can't gain life this turn. That phrase needs to never be in the game ever again, okay? They already had to ban it off of that Ferocidon because your only chance of beating that stupid deck was life gain, and then, oh, well, your opponent can't gain life, and already that stupid red Planeswalker, who is that, Tybalt or whatever, he's cycling out, cool, but now we got this bullshit. So annoying. I mean, what the hell are you supposed to beat red with now? 1/1 Death Touchers? Is that your only option? And they just, oh, shock. What a bullshit card. I'm pretty pissed off about this. So this is the first truly inherently obnoxiously broken card, but it deals 1 damage to its owner as well. I don't think you're going to outspeed red, but if you even come close to it, this card will help. This would be our mirror match winner too, so I don't know. I still hate this card and it shouldn't exist. And also it's not legendary, so you just drop like 4 of them in. I don't know. I hope nobody plays this. This is just trash. I mean, the whole, oh, your opponents can't gain life. Most decks don't gain life. So it might be a sideboard card, and I don't care. I play best of 1, but this is too dangerous to drop in. It's too likely to be annoying. And don't forget, we've got all like Fiery Emancipation, so it actually deals 3 damage. Yay! And don't forget Torbrand. Is Torbrand cycling out? I actually want to know that. Damn it, that trolley piece of dwarf garbage is from Throne of Eldraine. Damn it. Just ban them already, Wizards. Just ban the color red. So let's move on. We got Coral Helm Chronicler. Boy, they're just dumping rares on us. They're not going to have anything left. This must be a really short season here. So it's a 2/2 for 3, Merfolk Wizard. And whenever you cast a kicked spell, okay, draw a card, then discard a card, okay. When Coral Helm Chronicler enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a card with a kicker ability from among them and put it in your hand. I mean, that's a little narrow, okay. I don't like the whole look at the top 4, 5, 6, whatever cards in your library and then do something. I still have frickin' PTSD over Collected Company, but that's pretty specific. That said, though, somebody might get some little, you know, red blue thing going and some kind of maybe kicker mill thing. I don't know. It's just, it sounds bad. But yeah, the rest go to the bottom of your library in random order or whatever. I don't know. This probably won't be too bad. I mean, it's still a 2/2 for 3. It's not even flying, so whatever. It is a wizard, though, if you want to get that party thing going. By the way, Wizards issued, I guess, a correction, a clarification, or just a new rule that they pulled out of their ass. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. If you read the reminder text, aka like basically the rules text for a party, you know how it's like 1 cleric, 1 wizard, 1 rogue, and 1 warrior or whatever. You might think, oh, well, perfect. Yeah, I'll just get a warrior rogue or whatever, and there's 2 of them. Nothing in that rules text, reminder text, or anything in the description of party says that you can't do that, except for Wizards of the Coast says that you can't do that. So you actually legitimately need 4 creatures, which means that it's dead on arrival. You can't keep 4 creatures in play reliably in 2020 or 2021 or in Magic the Gathering, like at all in any format, period. Unless you just go wide with tokens and cross your fingers that they don't sweep or board wipe, you're not going to have 4 creatures in play. So yeah, if you have a dual type creature, it doesn't count for 2. Like it can count for either or, but it doesn't count as 2. So yeah, party mechanic, absolutely 100% dead on arrival and unplayable. In standard constructed. Everybody's like, no, it'll be great in modern. I don't give a shit about modern. Shut up. I don't care. I don't give a shit. This is a standard product and I play standard. Shut up. But Des, you didn't mention that this card would be perfect in this so-and-so archetype of commander deck. I don't care. I'm not talking about commander. This is a standard product. You can hear all about commander when I make a video about commander. Don't hold your breath. It'll be never. So anyway, next up we've got tacticas practicadas. Just like Portuguese is practicamente español. That's actually practice, not practically, but anyway, yeah, it's practiced tactics. So it's a 1 cost instant in white, which is usually pretty good. Choose target attacking or blocking creature. Practice tactics deals that creature an amount of damage equal to twice the number of creatures in your party. Okay, I mean, instant speed, that could be removal for 1. I mean, if you can get party working, you get all these like amazing spells. But you won't because keeping 4 creatures in play is impossible. So next up, they actually got the translation wrong, so I'm going to correct this. It's on the land side, Zoph's Bloody Pond, and on the creature side, Zoph's Consumption. And so we got every opponent loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. Cool. That's the sorcery side. I mean, that's kind of crap for 6. And then the land is, comes in tapped, and it's, just a swamp that comes in tapped, basically. Wow, this card is a dumpster fire. I mean, I guess it's like, oh, just assume it's a land, but then if you don't need a land, it's probably because you have 6 and then cast it for 6. I guess that's the logic behind it, making it a lot better than it seems on the surface. But if you're like on, turn 12 of the game and you've got 6 mana open and nothing to spend it on, maybe you should like build a more balanced, better deck that has some, mana outlets. So the next one, I guess the best translation would be Spike Field of Risk, but I don't think that'll be the actual English name. And then we've got Cave of Spike Field, which also doesn't really make sense. So the spell side is an instant. It costs 1 and it deals 1 damage to any target. If a permanent that was dealt damage this way dies this turn, exile it instead. And there's actually like a long history of spikes doing exactly 1 damage in Magic, by the way, so that's just a little reference there. And then the land side is just a mountain that comes in tap. So I'd like to say, okay, red is the color where they don't want mountains past like turn 4 or 5 or whatever, or their third or fourth mountain drop in, the normal mono red deck. So everybody's going to play this, right? Those be an automatic include, and then, yeah, they'll drop it as a mountain 90% of the time, but, whenever they're good on lands, oh, cool, just, remove something with 1 toughness maybe, I guess. Except this comes in tapped. Red Rush and lands that come in tapped do not go together, so I don't think people are going to play this. This is pretty close, but I don't think people are going to play it. Next up, we got Maul of the Sky Claves. Okay, that looks like some kind of hyper-powerful artifact relic equipment thing that, one of the treasure teams would find as the big prize at the end of the dungeon or whatever. So this should be good. So it's a 3-drop white artifact. Okay, colored artifact, colored equipment coming back. I called that one a couple days ago. And when Maul of the Sky Claves enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Okay. And then equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and first strike. Okay, but then the equip cost is 4, with 2 of it being white. I mean, flying and first strike, that's pretty good. +2 attack, that's really good. Then +2 toughness to boot, that's really good. And the fact that you can drop it in and free equip it for 3, that's nuts. But then once the creature is finally dealt with, okay, now you're on the hook for 4. I think this is a very, very powerful but appropriately power balanced, just nice, good card. And I gotta say, that seems to be the theme with this set. I mean, we've only seen 1 or 2 that are real problematic so far. And they're pretty deck specific. I mean, there's no Ugins in here. There's no Shadow Spears in here so far. So next up, we got the Extreme Sports Enthusiast Umara Mystic. It's a 3-cost 1/3 with flying. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell, Umara Mystic gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So in other words, double prowess. I don't remember if the virtually identical version of this card was in my Mr. Nibbles deck or my other Blitz deck, which I actually forgot the name of, but I played a card just like this, and then I think there was 1 or 2 in my deck. It was like a 4-drop, but it was triple prowess. It was every time you cast a spell, add 3 attack. And that was a standard turn 4 deck, so I'm actually a little bit worried about this. Well, I mean, hallelujah, we're losing the Izzet Guild. They are cycling out good riddance, you assholes, and your storm bullshit. There's a reason it's called the Storm Scale, you assholes. But here's more of that crap, but we're also losing the biggest amount of support for this crap, so I don't know. This card's only going to get worse as we add set until we get up to 8 or 9 or whatever being legal, so I don't like this. Next up, Expedition Skulker. It's a 2/2 for 2 vampire rogue, and it has death touch as long as you control another rogue, which is really not what you want to do in a party deck, so that's unusual. Next up, Taberax Hope's Demise. This is actually the card that was leaked, although I thought they said it was supposed to be 2-color. But anyway, it ended up being a legendary creature demon cleric, so I doubt this is the new legendary demon because Shadowborn Apostle is in the set. Spoiler alert. So it's a 2/2 for 3 with flying, and it has lifelink as long as it has 5 or more counters on it, which at that point, who gives a crap? You're just going to win the game. But whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a counter on it, which is always nice. And then if that creature was a cleric, you may draw a card if you do lose 1 life. That's huge for like a white-black mostly cleric deck. I mean, that's like the death trigger to end all death triggers right there. I mean, we're losing, or I think we already lost that midnight card where every time someone dies, you draw a card. So this will be kind of nice. I think limiting it to clerics is really limiting its playability, though. Next up, we got Dauntless Survivor. It's a 1/1 for 2, and when it enters battlefield, put a counter on target creature. So he's an option. So that's kind of nice to have options, kind of like that. There's a better version of it, an elf, but once again, I don't remember if it's cycling out, and I'm sick of looking it up. Next up, Deadly Alliance. We've got a 5-cost instant, but of course it costs 1 colorless less to cast for each creature in your party, so each cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard. And I guess you probably can't count the same one twice. I don't know, the party rules are in a rule book somewhere, not on the card, and that kind of pisses me off. So anyway, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Wait, didn't we already see this card? I don't know. I think the other one was just with a kicker. I don't know, whatever. Good card, I guess, but not if you're not running a party. So next up, we got Nighthawk Scavenger. It's a 1 or more power, I guess you would say, with 3 toughness. Vampire Rogue. I bet I know what they're going with on the artwork without even reading this. And the name. Y'all with me on this one? Okay, Flying Death Touch lifelink, yep. Its power is equal to 1 plus the number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyard. Yeah, it's basically a Flying Tarmogoyf. Okay, great. But it's basically Vampire Nighthawk. So Vampire Nighthawk has really, really similar naming and art, and it's a 2/3 for 3 double black. And it's a Vampire Shaman, but it just has Death Touch and lifelink, and that's it. This one is 1 plus and then 3 toughness, so probably 2 or more. And then it also is Flying Death Touch lifelink. I forgot to mention the Vampire Nighthawk is also flying. But then his power gets raised, so that's nuts. So card types, though, and I think that when they phrase it that way, they mean super type, which is why they run like weird like tribal super type stuff in a true Tarmogoyf deck. So you'd be real lucky to find a land there and almost have to be like a, Fabled or like an Evolving Wilds or something. So you can't count on that. Creature, you can pretty much count on that. And then maybe an instant and sorcery. So, I mean, even then, you drop him in for 3 kind of late game as like a 4 or 5 attack in the air with Death Touch and Flying and Lifelink. That's pretty insane. How much self-graveyard clearing will there be? My guess, not much. So, I don't know. This is a little OP. So next up, we got Ravager's Mace. It's a 3-cost double-colored equipment. Oh, boy. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That's actually getting annoying at this point now. And then equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each creature in your party and has menace. So it's a party card. It's 2-color. It's a single-shot equip, which turns your party members into even more lightning rods. And then it has an equip of 4. I mean, once again, in a full party, it would be great. Otherwise, no. Gonna be real hit or miss. Next up, Thwart the Grave. It's a 6-cost sorcery. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Return target creature card and up to 1 target cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield directly. Okay, that's broken. So any creature, no limit, and additionally also a cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard. And the first one doesn't exclude those types. So just self-mill the biggest flying demon you can get, and then you get that plus a party member. That is ridiculous. For 2 mana, basically, if you're running a party deck. What a ridiculous, disgusting example of free casting. The thing is, though, to line it up and really get it for cheap, you're going to have a party in play without somebody blowing it up, and that just is never going to happen. So hopefully this card's dead on arrival, because it is stupidly overpowered. So next up, Swarm Shambler. It's a 1-drop fungal beast rare, 0/0, cool, and it enters battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it, cool. And whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Ooh, that's annoying. And then if you pay 1 and tap it, put a 1/1 counter on Swarm Shambler. Okay, kind of slow, gradual, neat, little defensive card in green. You don't see that very often. It's more like a consolation prize card than a defensive card. It doesn't actually save anyone, but that's kind of interesting. It only works for spells that your opponents control, and it doesn't work on abilities, though, so it's a little narrow. Next up, Prowling Felidar. Okay, wizards. It's 2020. Coughing in public is the new N-word, and Felidar is the new F-word, okay? After Felidar Sovereign and the not Nahiri, who the hell was it? Saheeli. After the Felidar Saheeli combo, aka the Cat Lady combo, infinite combo, mind you, they should never print the word Felidar on a card ever again, because right off the bat, without even reading it, I don't trust it. And then that other asshole Felidar was like, what, get to 40 life, win the game or whatever? That's just annoying. That's just stupid. So let's see. Here we go. So 2/3 Vigilance Cat Beast. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on him. So, okay. But still, you couldn't have made it like a cougar or something instead of a Felidar. Anyway, this card's actually pretty good. And there's another card that has heavy interaction with Vigilance. So next up, we got sedjiri Shelter. It's a 2-cost instant with shitty land on the other side, and target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Oh, it just God's Willing for 2 without the scry. That's kind of shit, but still, I mean, it's a white counterspell. And like I said, on the Glacier side, it's just, a shitty almost plains, in that it almost comes into play untapped. Next up, Colony Ambush. It's a 3-cost instant with a pretty much garbage almost forest on the other side. I'm going to keep calling them that. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. They're a true fight card for 3 instant speed. None of this, it deals damage equal to its power. I'm kind of getting sick of the overpoweredness of that. People are playing that trash in the 2021 queue right now. We don't need more cards that say that, so this actually is a lot more fair than you think. Next up, Balaged Recovery. It's a sorcery with a shit land on the other side. And return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, I mean, it's like the green version of a black effect, kinda, so, alright. The fact that it's absolutely any card at all is kind of interesting. Actually, late game that'll be amazing, and then you wouldn't want to drop in the Sanctuary side late game. So that's actually pretty good. So next up we got Akumorir with the Garbage Almost Forest on the other side, and it's just a 4/5 trampler for 6. So you either got the mana for it or you don't, and drop in the land if you don't. So pretty simple. Next up, seafloor stalker. It's a 2/3 for 3, and if you pay 5, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. That's annoying. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each creature in your party. Okay. So you just stack it up with auras and equipment and win the game. That'll be kind of annoying. But once again, good luck lining that up without a party in play. Because spoiler alert, your opponent just blew up your whole party. Welcome to Standard. So we're like, welcome to D&D when I'm the DM. Your entire party's dead. Just kidding. I'm actually the opposite. I will have the wackiest, most unexpected shit happen to keep your party alive just because everybody who plays D&D with me or Gamma World usually is like really slow at drawing up a character. Like it takes them like a week. Now that said, in my last custom Gamma World campaign, I almost killed myself with my horribly overpowered creatures. I was like, oh crap, that does double damage to my character type. Oh shit. And they almost one-shotted me. So next up we got Core Blademaster. It's a 1/1 for 2, double strike, nice. And equipped warriors you control have double strike. Okay, you guys do not even realize the significance of this card. Fencing Ace, the virtually identical card. It's a 1/1 double striker for 2, but without the whole equipped warriors double strike whatever thing. He is the cheapest, most effective white double striker in the game. He is actually a card in my modern deck. And I kept saying, I don't want to put in that stupid Pro 2 color double strike guy for 3 because he costs 3. I need one more double striker in white that costs 2. That's all I've been asking for since I built my modern deck about 6 or 7 years ago. Here it is. Hopefully you now understand the sheer unbelievable significance of this card being printed. So anyway, yeah, giving all your warriors double strike, that ain't no joke. So I'm starting to think that instead of just a party, like that's a fringe option, you might go like all rogues, you might go all wizards, or like just split it between 2 types or whatever. Because that's a warrior tribal boost right there. I mean, I don't know what else you'd call it. So next up we got Ardent Electromancer, 3/2 for 3, and when it enters battlefield, add 1 red mana to your mana pool for each creature in your party. Oh, that's annoying. I do not like free mana effects in red. They are historically very problematic to say the least. But it's okay because your whole party just died and your deck failed. You should build something other than that. So next up, Kitesail Cleric. It's a 1/1 for 1 with kicker 3. It has flying, and then when it enters battlefield, if it was kicked, tap up to 2 target creatures. But they do untap during their opponent's next untap step, so who cares? I mean, it could be a virtually free swing at your opponent for 4 mana, but I don't know. So next up, another mythic, Ashaya Soul of the Wild. It's a star, oh boy, for 5. Wait, is this Avenger clone? Oh, it better not be. Oh, no, it isn't. Okay, good. Ashaya Soul of the Wild's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Great, because nobody's sick of that yet. And non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. Usually they just say something like, oh, they can tap for mana, but they literally are forest lands now. I do believe that even with the funny way they phrase that, if you drop in a creature, you will get a landfall effect because it's like a simultaneous thing. But the more normal way to say that is like creatures you control like and in your deck or and in your hand, or I don't remember the exact wording, but they like specifically say ones that are in play and also ones that aren't in play are, you know, this. So they didn't strictly say that, but they have to be phrasing it that way for landfall. So I don't know. That's kinda odd. If I'm not mistaken, some judges are going to take issue with what they wrote at the end there. They're still affected by summoning sickness. Try using the phrase summoning sickness or fizzle, or let's see, there's a couple other ones. I don't know. As far as I know, both of those terms were made up by the player base. So summoning sickness is nowhere in the rules. It's just a nickname. The actual rule just says blah, 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 permanent, continuously owned or controlled since blah, 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 last phase of whatever turn, who cares? So for them to write summoning sickness on a card as part of official rule text and official reminder text, that is gonna trigger the shit out of some judges, which, you know what? I'm gonna say fizzle as often as possible because screw you, everybody knows what I'm talking about. You need to climb off your high horse and get a life. Anyway, next up we got a reprint of Tormenting Vice. It's a 2-cost sorcery. You discard a card and then draw 2 cards. Very annoying card in red, actually. Next up, Utility Knife. Oh boy, it's a 1-drop. When it enters the battlefield, you auto-equip it. That's annoying. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, so it's basically short sword with an auto-equip, except that it has an equip cost of 3. That is just a bad card. Next up, Oblivion's Hunger. Actually, Oblivion doesn't take up nearly as much memory as Skyrim. Anyway, it's an instant, 2 costs. Target creature you control gains indestructible till end of turn. Nice. Draw a card if that creature has a 1/1 counter on it. Nice. That's more of a defensive spell. I mean, we've seen like +2 and indestructible, where it's like, okay, I'm going to kill you. I think we've even had like +3 in Death Touch or something. That was an old Origins card, I think. So kind of cool, but I want some attack thrown in there, you know. Next up, Subtle Strike. I think this is a reprint too. This is a 2-cost instant. Choose one or both. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn, and then put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Nice. Nice little half persistent, half boost card to screw with combat. I absolutely love this. Next up, Hagra Constrictor. It's a 3-cost 0/0, and it enters with 2 1/1 counters on it, so basically a 2/2. And then each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has Menace. Ooh, damn. That's a spicy danger noodle right there. Next up, Guldraw's Mucklord. It's a 2/3 for 3, and it's a Crocotopolus. Oh wait, no, that would be Ikoria. No, this one's actually just a crocodile. How boring. And when it dies, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. I love that effect. You know, it's a consolation prize effect. This is like the consolation prize set. I love it. It's a very, very subtle half measure to play around control. It just gives you still a little bit of a chance to turn the game around, and I love stuff like that. Very inherently fair. Next up, Risen Riptide. It's a 0/5 for 3. Whenever you cast a kicked spell, Risen Riptide has base, power, and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. Damn, that don't have no defender. So that's pretty good. I think Kicker as a mechanic is kind of a dumb idea, but this is interesting. At least it's not a mill card. Next up, Field Research. Oh, look, it's a spell with Kicker. Yay. So it's 3 Kicker 3, which is getting up there, but okay. Draw 2 cards. If it was kicked, draw 3 cards. 3 for 6 is pretty shit, honestly. But, you know, it's more like if you have it, you know, if you have 6, might as well get an extra card out of it. It's not just like they just printed it that way. So this is actually just like a strictly better version of Divination, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of cool. Next up, Rabid Bite, reprint number 15, I think. You guys know what this card does. It's, oh shit, it's one of those I thought it was a true force fight. Damn it. So no, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control with no consequences whatsoever, and it can take out a Death Toucher. Very annoying. We did not need a reprint of that. Next up, Brushfire Elemental. Well, that's just insensitive to the entire continent of Australia and the hopefully soon-to-be continent of California. Just one earthquake away. We're all waiting. Hopefully it sinks into the ocean, too. Anyway, it's a 1/1 for 2 with haste, and it can't be blocked by creatures of power 2 or less. Oh, I am sick of hearing that phrase. That went so well on, what is that, Leaf something? That stupid overpowered elf piece of shit. But yeah, landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +2/+2 till end of turn. Damn, okay. It's a pretty good power card, but yeah, that whole no chump blocking thing is actually really annoying. It's kind of like semi-trample, but it's conditional. I never did like it. Next up, Makindi Ox. Hey, that's a Pokemon. Which one is it? It's not Swinub, it's not the other one, it's like the other one. Anyway, it's just a 4/4 for 5 with landfall, tap an opponent's creature. So it doesn't stay tapped, or it's not persistent, obviously, because it's white, not blue. That's what white does. But yeah, they ain't blocking this turn, so that's pretty damn good, actually. I still think 5's a little high for a 4/4, but whatever. I mean, especially if the rest of your deck is like Flying Angels, like who cares? So next up, Teeter Peak Ambusher. It's a 1/3 for 2, and if you pay 3, it gets +2 till end of turn. So 1.5 times Fire Breathing. There you go. Oh wait, no, that would be like 1.5 damage per mana. It's the other way. It's shittier Fire Breathing, which Fire Breathing is overpowered as balls, so I'm fine with that. Next up, Anti-Cognition. That's a neat name. Cool art there, too. So it's a 2-cost instant, counter target creature or planeswalker spell. There we go. Improvement on Essence Scatter. Although, except, unless its controller pays 2. They have 2. This card's garbage. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, instead counter that spell, period, then scry 2. I mean, if you're going to make it unreliable, you might as well make it unreliable 2 different ways, I guess. It's still garbage. I had my hopes up that this was finally an Essence Scatter that can take out a Planeswalker too, but nope, had to put 2 dumb conditions on it. Anyway, next up we got Resolute Strike. I think that's a reprint, not that it's relevant in any way. I'm just sick of people saying, you forgot to mention it's a reprint. I don't care. Who would care? Why would that make any difference at all? Nobody cares. Anyway, it's a 1-cost white instant, and target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's a warrior, you may attach an equipment you control to it. Ooh, for free. I knew there was going to be a free attach effect other than like the initial drop on this stuff. There had to be. Those equip costs are too damn expensive, so this is kind of interesting. Next up, Kaza Royal Chaser. Oh boy. 1/2 for 2, Flying Haste, and then if you tap it, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards you control as this ability resolves. That's a weird phrase to put on the end, because I guess it would be last known state, or the state that, or like the value that it was when it was put on the stack. So they're purposely telling you don't measure it that way. So if somebody can react by blowing away 1 or 2 of your wizards at instant speed, then, well, whoopsies. That's kind of cool. I mean, you can make a counterspell cost a little bit, like, unsafely less. So, yeah, but this is legendary, though. And it's only a 1/2. I don't know, Wizard deck should be interesting with this in it. It's a good power card, I just don't know if it'll find a deck. Next up, Demon's Disciple. It's a 3/1 for 3, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Oh, good, another one of those. It's basically Chupacabra. But then it's also 3 damage for 3, and it sticks around, so that is extremely annoying. Next up, Grotak Night Runner. Or Grotag, I should say. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card, not cast it, play that card until end of turn is what it should have said. It says this turn, but weirdly inconsistent wording. That's just kind of annoying, but yeah, it includes lands, so whatever. Next up, Sneaking Guide. It's a 1/1 for 1 Goblin Rogue, and if you pay 2 and tap it, target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn, which is not worth 2 mana. That card's trash. And now we get to translate some crap. Awesome. So Concordant Spell, maybe. It's a 5-cost red common instant, so it can't be that good. Let's see. It deals 4 damage to target creature and deals X damage to that creature's controller, where X is the number of creatures in your party. Okay, a little bit of extra overflow party card, and it's pretty much crap. Next up, we got Into the Royal. Finally seeing that artwork on an actual card there. So it's 2 with Kicker 2, with the blue stuck in there, and return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If it was kicked, draw card. Nice, I like that. Bouncing shit back to hand until your opponent wants to actually kill you is basically how mill works, so I'm not thrilled about this card, but in a vacuum, there's nothing wrong with the card. Next up, Umara Wizard. It's a 5-cost 4/3 with a shitty land on the other side, and whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, it gains flying until end of turn. That's actually kind of nice. And finally, the last card, we've got Skyclave Cleric with, let's see, yep, that is in fact a shitty land on the back, and it's a 2-cost creature, and when it enters battlefield, you gain 2 life. Very nice, very, very nice. We actually kind of needed that. I was hoping they'd do a basic life effect with a land on the back, because my deck could really benefit from that, actually. Cool, so a couple very, very specific problem cards, but nothing where it's just like, oh, Scorpion God. Great, fantastic. Or was it? No, Scarab was the bad one. I don't know, I hated all 3 of them. Locust God was annoying for like 5 minutes until people stopped playing it on like day 3. So I don't even remember what the Scorpion God does. I just probably hated it. But yeah, nothing really stands out as just blatantly, damn, that's ridiculous. There's a couple where it's like, okay, that's already going to go into deck that's already a problem, but that's more of a problem with the other cards it fits with. I'm getting a little bit worried about spell spam prowess, basically is it style bullshit, especially 2-color mill, obviously red-blue. And I think that mono white life gain and white black life gain are actually going to be a tier 1 thing still, like for like what, the 3rd year in a row. Nothing really wrong with that. It's just, you know, mix it up once in a while. And then I really hate that you can't gain life card on top of it. So it's just there's some questionable things in here, but overall not too bad. So kind of looking forward to the rest of the spoilers now. We've seen let's see, 114 out of 280. So we might finally see a whole set where nothing is just like disgustingly pushed. But remember, there's one more card that's allegedly in here that is going to piss you off. Potentially 2, actually, that were leaked early. So we'll see if those come true. But anyway, in the meantime, I will see you guys next video.